Hello, hello. I was waiting all day for this. I am with my dear friend and soul sister, Sharon Ashcraft, and this is the second episode of our roots and remedies and ancient wisdom for healers and light workers, wellness for healers and light workers, because so many of us are so busy doing for others and showing up and radiating our radiating our energy and finding ways to share our wisdom and gifts with the world. But oftentimes we need to conduct some self care on ourselves, starting the day early and really making sure that we're eating the right things and taking the right things so that we can be at the highest frequency. And from last week, when we talked with Sharon, we talked to many people and they really said they wanted to know more about high frequency foods. So if they're going to eat, if they're going to get a meal, what should they be eating to keep their frequencies high? And so I'm super excited to welcome Sharon back today. Hi, Sharon.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
We talked about this a little bit. We talk often. So we were like, oh, there's so many ways we can take this. But I guess really just for everybody listening, how would you categorize or what would be your description of a high frequency food?
So everything has vibrations in the world. It doesn't matter what it is, all plants, everything. And we have high vibration, or we have vibrations. So we always want them to be higher. So foods that we take in, we want to have a high frequency, high vibrations. So it's basically high vibrational foods are foods that will give us more energy, bring up our mood, help with digestion, all things that I call food for a purpose, helping the body, things that will help the body. And we can also touch on what low vibrational foods are, but that would obviously be the opposite, things that we really wouldn't want to be consuming a lot of because they would bring our energy down. So if we're eating high vibrational foods, not only will it bring our energy level up and our vibrations up higher, but it will cast that out into the universe. So the people that we are around will be able to be high vibrational as well.
So helpful, so helpful. Well, yesterday I was at the airport and I wanted a snack and I was going, store to carousel. And I'm like, oh gosh, there's really not a lot of things to eat. In fact, I was going to eat some nuts, but I know you told me before that you have to eat raw nuts, not just, planters, honey roasted peanuts. Like that's not necessarily good for you. So when you think about things that we have to eat, I know there's so much to consider, such as organic and raw. But I feel like maybe just even in an airport, if we could start there, just for sake of discussion, if you were in an airport, how do you even know what to eat?
Probably because of airport food not being the best food, because it's usually something quick, something that it's not usually going to be a nice prepared meal, or usually things in a raw state. And that's a good point that you mentioned, like the roasted nuts or, honey roasted, whatever. Those are the ones you definitely want to stay away from because they're coated in sugar or glazed with something. So there's some chemical interaction and also processing. But if I was in an airport, I would probably try to go for something, an orange. An orange brings up your vibrations quickly. It's citrus is really good for your immune system. So that would be a good choice because I would imagine here they go again. Most airport food is going to be processed or have things in it that it shouldn't be. So you want to stay away from like the sugary things and, like I said, the processed stuff.
Yes, I love how they like to get in the conversation, like they're contributing. It's awesome. So brings a good point because I feel like a lot of times for us and for different people that are maybe working on an hourly basis or going from client's house or clients are showing up for them, the importance of packing your own food because if you're going
Very
to run out, yeah, if you're going to run out to go grab something, I mean, really, the way society feeds us is not for a high vibration. Is that an accurate statement?
absolutely accurate. It's really sad, but marketing, so many things play into that non high vibrational food. as a society, we want things that are quick, and usually it's things that are sugary or starch, things that we really should be staying away from. So packing our food really is important, and it's easy to do. I mean, so you take a handful of raw nuts and put them in a container, or you might take a salad, or a banana, an apple, sticking to really the basic foods. And we'll talk about whenever we're ready, or how it evolves, of things that you can make that at home besides things that you take with you. But another good one just off the top of my head would be dates. That would be something, if somebody's craving something sweet, that's an anti-inflammatory food, and it's also good for digestion. So that's something you could take with you as a quick snack, quick pick me up. But anything, try to think of things in their natural state: bananas, apples, oranges, citrus fruit of any kind, and the nuts and seeds, sunflower seeds, but they've got to be, again, natural, whole ones. Everything you would want, no sugar, no salt on it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I know you have a very regimented eating process, and you get your food from all over. So it's not like you have to go to a Whole Foods or
No.
a really high-end store. You can find good food at your local pantry, at your local is it Aldi's? Aldi's, yeah, your local Aldi's. I mean, they have a great organic Trader Joe's. So, like, when you think about shopping, are you often shopping for the whole week, or is there ways or strategies in people that want to have high frequency foods that, that there are tricks that you use throughout the week? Maybe you buy stuff and make things that you can take with you.
I think it's just good to know the chart, just to basically know that you should be eating some of the following foods. Like, for instance, any greens, the leafy greens, your kales and spinach and broccoli, things like that. Those are good to have in the house 24/7. You don't ever want to not have them in the house, because you can throw them in anything, whether it's soup, you can put them on top of something, if it's a sandwich, however, whatever, or a salad. Those are things you should always have in the house. So these are things that when I go to the store, I just make sure that my staples that I keep in the refrigerator are always there. Blueberries, if you're going to be doing fruits, blueberries are probably one of the very highest vibrational foods that you can have. And I like to start those in the beginning of my day with my oatmeal. I'm very regimented about that, because I know that is giving me a great kickstart to the day. And they also help filter the pancreas. They do a lot of things, and they're very, very high in antioxidants. Also, you would want to, like I said, keep the bananas and the apples, things that are quick on the go. Seeds, your flax seeds for your omega, chia seeds. And some of these are going to give you, some protein also. Fermented foods, I like to keep fermented foods on hand. Sauerkraut's a really good one. And, you can do a lot of things with that. Also, I keep ginger and the basics like turmeric, things like that. And I like whole ginger because you can incorporate that into a meal, or if nothing else, you can cut it up and put it in a mason jar and make ginger water out of it and drink it for a couple of days. Let me think. Garlic. That's a basic one. Garlic, great to have in your food. Cinnamon is something I like to sprinkle cinnamon every day, because that helps regulate your blood sugar. And also, if you do, the Ceylon cinnamon is the best one to take or to use. And then drinking, making sure I've got tea. You drink matcha, some the different types of teas, organic teas, or what do you call it? The not regular tea, herbal teas. A lot of the herbal teas and mixtures, those will help bring up your vibrations as well. Apple cider vinegar. I mean, there's a huge long list. So as long as I have those staples in my house, I'm fine, because I've got all high vibrational foods. So it's just a matter of mixing them and incorporating them. And we as American society eat too much food as it is. we should scale down, drink more liquid, stay hydrated more, which is good for our skin, it's good for our body, and be very mindful of the food that we take in.
That I love that. I want to talk about tea for a second because I think it's important. I'm on my third cup of tea with this tea bag. So I'm drinking a turmeric ginger tea.
Great.
And yes, and I just really learned about tea bags and the plastics and organic and all of that. So I had to really clean out my tea area and get rid of all the non-organic teas. I think my mom and I were talking, yeah, we definitely were talking about that. And then I just started buying the tea Riski, I think.
Mhm.
And their packaging seems like plastic tea bags. But if you actually research it, it's plant-based biodegradable material. So you got to be really careful what teas you're buying and then make sure they're organic, but also the packaging that you actually put in the water is also important.
Yes. And the reason for our viewers, the reason we want to make sure it's organic, because the tea is really a huge one, because you're supposed to enjoy the tea, and it's a very vibrational, high vibrational thing to do. But if it's not organic, what a lot of people don't realize is it's been sprayed with pesticides, it's been sprayed with fungicides, it's been sprayed heavily with chemicals, and it's cut and dried and sent off to the factory to be put into these tea bags. And the very first time it gets basically washed is when we put the hot water across it to drink it. So it releases all those chemicals back again. But the organic, certified USDA organic foods teas are not allowed to have those sprays, pesticide sprays on them. So that's why we really want to make sure that we're enjoying a nice cup of tea instead of a nice cup of chemicals. So, see, all of these things go into keeping our vibrations high. Those non-organic teas would bring our vibrations down.
Yes, it's something that is really kind of simple, but even yesterday, again, at the airport, they have no organic teas. So you have to pack your own tea bags and just ask for hot water. And some vendors will give it to you for free, some I charge you 60 cents, but having your own tea bags is instrumental.
And that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Usually, you can take a few with you, and that fits in your bag easy.
But I think it's the mindset of like thinking of food and drinks as fuel, like really fuel, not just, hey, I'm hungry right now. I just have to eat because I'm hungry, but really thinking about how am I going to fuel myself on this trip? How am I going to fuel myself throughout the day? And so I know I make some like peanut butter, granola. It's actually oats, peanut butter, cranberries, and keep it in the refrigerator. So when I'm hungry, I don't want to like pull everything out to make food. I have something quick to cut. What kind of like prepared foods can people think about having so that they have something readily available?
Uh, Whatever you like as a snack, that is, like, basically, like I said, on that high vibrational list, whether it's dates, or although you don't want to consume too many dates, because too many will be too much sugar. 3 or 4 a day would be the most you'd want to consume. But something like you said, if there's an almond butter or a nut butter that you like, having that close by with it. Some people like celery, to dip it in celery. Quick snacks, quick things in the refrigerator. My favorite one is just a little bowl of blueberries and pecans, or possibly raisins. But again, they need to be organic as well, because grapes are on the dirty dozen, pretty high up on the list. So anything like that, that's quick and easy, that'll give you maybe a little iron, a little jolt for the day, a little bit of protein, something. And also to be careful not to have anything but protein in the evening. Don't have things that are going to create sugar when you go to bed, to slow with your metabolism. You want to have something a little more protein based.
I love that. And I'd like to just, cause I'm thinking about going to the grocery store, right? So first it's your greens and stuff you could put in a salad. Then it often is, the wall of ginger and celeries and mushrooms. Then you make your way around to the fruits, because you're leaving the
Mangoes.
vegetables.
Mangoes are a very high one. That would be a
Oh,
good one that people can use. It's high in like A, B, C, K. It's high in a lot of vitamins, minerals, helps with digestion, and you can do a lot with it. You can use the juice of a mango for a salad, or you could sometimes you can make it into a dessert, just saute it a little bit in some vegan butter. That's really quite tasty to brown it a little bit. There's a lot of things you can do with it, and always keep like fresh mint, fresh basil, and the ginger, turmeric, things like that you can incorporate, cinnamon, incorporate into your meals or into your snack.
I'm big. I pack avocados a lot. I'll cut them at home and then I just bring the spoon with me on the plane.
Mhm.
And I eat avocados quite a bit.
That's good. Yeah, those are all good.
I love it. So I've been doing a couple fasts over 2024 and I came off them completely the wrong way. Sent my whole body into like total shock. And they talk a lot about coming off with different things. They talk a lot about bone broth is one for the high protein and such. But the other thing they talk about is coconut yogurt. So what's your opinion on some of the non-dairy yogurts?
I think they're a good choice. I really like cashew yogurt.
Mm.
That's one of my favorite ones. And you can get some organic cashew yogurts, and the coconut would be good too. Coconuts are good. Any of the non-dairy ones, you just want to be careful of making sure they are organic, and also that they don't have other ingredients in them. So you want to really read the label, make sure it's a clean company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in future episodes, I do want to dive into things to take in the morning with your food, things to maybe consider in the afternoon. What do you take right now during flu season? So maybe next time we get together in 2 weeks, we can talk about some things that we can be taking, supplements and herbs that we can be taking with our high frequency foods to help our systems kind of fight off everything that's out there right now.
That's a good idea. And I just want to mention real quick, the foods to be very careful with and to stay away from the low vibrational foods. Sugar is going to be at the top of the list because that really tears the immune system down. You want to stay away from highly processed foods. You don't want to be eating white flour bread. You don't want to be having any processed snacks, the chips, all the things that are highly processed and contain a lot of negative oils.
Mhm.
Dairy, you want to be careful with. I want to mention dairy and even animal flesh because of the reason for some people, they're very low vibrational because they're harder for the system to process. And also, like factory farm animals, they go through, they have a lot of hormones and things that come out of their system that we will ingest. So those are, and also they eat foods that are very highly sprayed. So those are also things that are negative for our body. Trying to stay plant-based, like you mentioned, like going with a plant-based yogurt versus an animal yogurt is definitely much better. All of these low vibrational foods decrease our energy level. They give us mental fog. They bring down that high vibration function. So we want to make sure we stay away from those type of foods when at all possible.
Mm. Well, I appreciate that. I think just giving us the ability to think about our foods differently. So we've often been told stay away from the sugary drinks and the white bread and, the processed food, but why? Why? And I love this approach that we're talking about keeping our frequency high, protecting our energy flow, and even gearing us up to shield some of the viruses that are going on right now. So I love the idea of thinking of our food as frequency and what are we filling ourselves up with? And is it matching the frequency that we're sharing with the world? Or are we going home and pounding, 2 bags of chips? So wherever you are on the spectrum, it doesn't really matter right now, but you're probably hearing this for a reason and really thinking about how you eat is such a big piece of how much work you have to do to bring your energy back. And I will tell you, I'm the first if I go away with friends or, I'm with the kids, I definitely indulge in moments with them that are memorable. But then I just start again the next day. I just start again the next day. And I think if we just shift our frequency with the foods we eat even by 10% or 20%, or eventually we're to 30%, I mean, that is a really big deal for many of us.
Because that's gets to be overwhelming, and then you're not going to enjoy your food. You're not going to enjoy what you're eating. So, it's you can't make that 360 shift all in one day. So, like you mentioned, do it little by little, adding things, taking things out, and really letting your body tell you, I really like the taste of this, or I'm enjoying this, and stop eating when you're full and not when you're over full. Don't keep eating for the taste.
I remember Oprah saying that. She said, she lets herself eat something she wants, but she's very mindful when she eats. She's sitting with the food, she's being incredibly mindful, and she notices that when she is done eating, or she doesn't, the taste isn't as savory anymore, then she stops. Even if she's not hungry, or even if she's more hungry, but that piece of it, she'll then move over to something that's super healthy for her. So she doesn't deny herself stuff she craves. She just monitors the intake and doesn't keep just like eating mindlessly. So I think like that is a big part of eating too, is just being with your food. I'm starting now often to thank my food before I eat, as really just gratitude for all the people that touched it before it made it to my plate. And then really being part of the experience of eating. I'm not reading my phone. I'm not, looking up things on the internet or even listening to TV. I'm just being with my food.
And that's important because it helps with our digestion as well.
Mm.
We're supposed to eat slow, enjoy what we're eating, and not be distracted in other levels where it's going to hamper our digestion. Oh, they're ready.
Well, with that, I want to thank you, Sharon. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing this interesting and mindful approach to eating. I feel like many of us think of eating as a drive-by experience. And I think for many of us that are really working to raise our frequency and enjoy the work that we're putting out in the world, we often have to really fill ourselves up. And so thank you so much for joining me. And
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward.
Thank
So
you.
I'm looking forward to doing this next week. So
Absolutely.
next week, let's talk about actually it's 2 weeks, but in 2 weeks, let's talk about things we should be taking in the morning in addition to our high frequency foods that prepare us for the day ahead.
Sounds good.
I love it. Well, thank you. I will talk to you soon. I love the wisdom you share with so many, and I'm so grateful you joined me here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I love it. All right. We'll be back soon. Thank you again for joining us.
Bye.